He's in, fired one of the back posts. That goes wide, and the horn sounds. The Minnesota Wild dropped here at home as the Oilers have won 4 in a row. They beat the Wild here tonight 7-1 as Minnesota opens up the homestand with a bit of a thud.
A bit of a thud is definitely one way to put it. Wild lose 7-1 tonight in St. Paul. Yeah, that's a tough way to start the homestand. Even worse than that, the Wild are down another body on the injury list. Back upstairs to the Al Shaver press box, that's Tom Reid. Downstairs in the Bob Kurtz Radio Center, I'm Kevin Falness. And Tom, I mean, it's one thing to lose a hockey game, but especially the way they started. You knew it was going to be tough without Jules Eriksson, without Jonas Brodin, those guys in particular, when you're trying to limit two guys like McDavid and Draisaitl. Then you lose one of your top pair defensemen, and it just got from bad to worse from that point forward.
Yeah, it certainly did, Kevin, no doubt about it. And they just didn't seem to have that jump we normally see. But all of a sudden, when you lose a player of that caliber, especially back in the blue line, it really hurts your squad because everything has to be changed around. You're wondering who's on the right side, who's on the left side. You're back and forth, and they tried to make it work. But when 37 seconds into the first period, they lost him, and boy, that disrupts it for the rest of the game.
No doubt about it, and like we said, that's a tough way to start the homestand, but life will go on. It'll be interesting to see what changes are made going into this weekend, and if Jonas Brodin comes back, if potentially Matt Zuccarello as well. Plenty of questions to be answered. Maybe some of them will be addressed by John Hines in his post-game comments coming up. Can't imagine you're going to pick a Wild player for Tom Reid's catalyst of the game, so who you got?
I have to go with the Leon Draisaitl, no question about it. What a game he had. He's a big, strong body. 4 points on the night with a goal and 3 assists. He was a +2 on. He played over 18 minutes in this hockey game and had the most shots of anybody in that Edmonton. He had 5 shots out of 6 attempts, but he handled things well. He knew exactly what he had to do, and he won almost 60% of the draws also. So he's a force to be reckoned with. And I said that to Joe, who's better, McDavid or Draisaitl? And boy, you really have to go back and forth. I know McDavid gets all the accolades because of his skating ability, but Draisaitl is a guy right up there with him.
That's what I was going to say. Draisaitl can't be that far behind McDavid. I know McDavid is, without a doubt, the number one guy on the planet, but hot on his heels, Draisaitl's got to be right there with him, Tom.
Well, he is, and he plays such a solid game too. And I was watching the one that where Trenyon hit him, and he didn't even move. He didn't. I mean, he just stayed upright and kept on going. And he's a force you have to reckon with, and you really have to know how to play against him. It isn't so much about trying to knock him down; just take him off the play.
Second time this season, the Wild have given up a touchdown. The first time it happened in Philadelphia back in October. Guess who's coming here on Saturday, Tom?
Yep, I know who's coming. Believe me.
The Philadelphia Flyers. What do you expect in that one in the rematch? The Wild got the better of that, or they fell in Philly, one of the stinkers on the early part of the season. What do you expect in the rematch?
Well, I would think that Philadelphia is looking at the Minnesota squad right now. It depends who's going to be playing for Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Is anybody going to be back from the injury list or not? Or are they going to be suffering with what they did tonight after that injury to Middleton? But I'm sure they'll come in here where they remember what they did out there, and they'll try and do the same thing and get the victory out of here. But Minnesota has to counter that.
Thank you, Tom. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you Saturday afternoon.
Right, thanks, Kevin.
Tom Reid from the Al Shaver press box following a 7-1 loss to the Edmonton Oilers. Leon Draisaitl on fire once again. A big night for him. Now 30 points in 25 games, a lifetime against the Minnesota Wild. Tonight he had a big night as well and is rewarded with Tom Reid's Catalyst of the Game. Presented by Catalyst Supply Co. Building materials and install support. Boost your build. Before we wrap things up, we'll try to get you some reaction inside that Wild locker room. Maybe we can get an update on Jake Middleton, who left the game with an upper body injury. Just 30-some seconds into this hockey game. Maybe John Hines can give us some more clarity on his situation when he addresses the media. You'll hear this on this exact radio dial. More from the postgame show coming your way next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.